Dear President Vladimir Putin, I'm so sorry that I was not your mother. If I was your mother, you would have been so loved, held in the arms of joyous light. Never would the stories plight the world unfurled before our eyes, a pure demise of nations sitting peaceful under a night sky. If I was your mother, the world would have been warm. So much laughter and joy, and nothing would harm. I can't imagine the stain, the soul-stealing pain that the little boy you must have seen and believed, and the formulation of thought quickly taught that you lived in a cruel, unjust world. Is this why you now decide no one will get the best of you? Is this why you do not hide nor away shy from taking back the world? Was it because so early in life, all that strife racked your little body with fear? If I was your mother, if the world was cold, I'd have died to make you warm. I'd have died to protect you from the unjust, the violence, the terror, the uncertainty. I would have died to give you life. Oh, dear Mr. President Putin, if only I'd been your mother. Perhaps the torture of unwrit youth would not within your heart imbue ascription to such fealty against that world that you thought was so cruel. Perhaps you would hold dear human life, and on this night, instead of Mother Russia, you would call me, and I would set your mind quite free with the love that only a mother can give, and only a mother can take away. When holds she doesn't the harm at bay and leaves her boy for the promise of a man. Whatever your story, Mr. President Putin, I can't imagine how it feels in your heart, but I know if I was your mother, that would be a start towards the awareness of what a powerful being of light you could be if your mind was only free from the violence you've seen when you were just 2 or 3. I cannot believe I was born too late, in a different place, when I would have loved you so, watched you play wherever you go.
Oh, good morning.
I'm pro nuclear war now.
Yeah. I'm converted.
Just destroy it all.
Was that a person, like a famous person, or just some chick?
She's from 90210, like the new 90210, not the one
Jesus.
from when we were kids.
Did she write that, or did she like lift that from somewhere?
Apparently, that was her freeballing it.
I mean, it's better poetry than I could do. I mean, it's still insane, but I'll give her that.
She caught a lot of shit for that apparently, and justly so. Let's see.
What, like from who and for what? Like from people like us, or like from people like her?
From everybody. Just
what
like,
class of people?
Okay, so yeah, justly so.
She caught shit from that. She caught shit about that from like everybody because it was just so cringy and stupid.
My favorite tweet, cringe. I just saw this, was Putin secretly just wants to date AOC. Did you see this tweet?
Who said that? AOC?
Probably. Some guy named Razor Fist on Twitter.
Let's see. In the 2-minute clip, Annalynn recited a poem she seemingly wrote in which she shares how the politician could have been a different person if she was his mother. The poem was widely criticized online. And in an interview with BuzzFeed News, McCord explained that she was inspired to write the verses after waking up in anguish over the children of the war.
Do you think this is her first anti-war poem?
Probably. The poem has been criticized for implying that Putin's actions are actually his mother's fault for not loving him enough, and assuming that the 34-year-old would have been able to prevent the situation.
That's the line they're taking.
Yeah, she's anti-woman. I knew it was something. I was like, there's going to be some woke shit in here.
Jeez.
Yep. She is anti-mother. She's anti-mother.
If it comes out that she has like a whole series on like anti like Syria war or something, I'll get her back.
Well, I mean, she should have began with "If I were your birthing person," and not "If I were your mother." I mean, you got
if I were your
first mistake right there. Yeah.
No, we went over this a couple weeks ago. It's the birthing person is harmful to women, so they're not using that anymore.
Oh, they took that one back, didn't they?
Yeah.
Hold on, I got to take my notes.
We did a whole episode on it. I don't know what more notes you need.
A lot of things.
Yeah, we do talk about a lot of things. I was when we were working on moving some last week, my stepson was asking about like the different shows that I do and stuff, and I was telling him about this. And so we were just going through like the list of show names. I was like, "Oh, we talked about a lot of crazy shit on that one. Oh, we talked about a lot of crazy shit on that one." I was like, "Yeah, you should just watch all of them. Like we do a good job on all of them."
Sometimes the title doesn't mean what we're actually going to talk about in the show too.
See, the problem is I create the title beforehand, and then between the time that I create the episode and give it a title and we actually start, we usually come up with like 4 new things. Like today we're all about the squalls, but originally we were going to talk about Biden's continued sliding approval ratings, which we will still do, but that won't be the focal point of the show as it was originally intended.
Hola, Carlos.
What's up, Carlos?
Carlos is our number 1 fan. So speaking of our number 1 fan, I'm working on putting together his episode for this week, and I am going completely on blind faith that he was able to pick a good clip for this show, because the teaser clip is entirely in Spanish, and I don't speak any of that. I pick up he said "que pasa" at one point, and I know what that means.
I don't speak any of that.
I catch a few words here and there, but I am trusting Carlos that he came up with a good clip for this week's show. So we'll see how that goes. And for any of our Hispanic speaking friends of the show, once I get that clip out later this morning, go watch it and let me know how Carlos did.
What is a Hispanic speaking friend?
I don't know. Is that not it's not Mexican, and it's not technically Spanish.
Or would it be? But Spanish speaking is how you would say that, isn't it? Or no? Maybe I'm the one that's the idiot here.
I think you're wrong. You're being incredibly.
No Espanol. I don't know, man.
You're being incredibly politically incorrect and insensitive to all the people of any.
Yes.
Yeah, any Hispanic speaking country that's not either Mexico or Spain.
I apologize. Sincerely.
I'm just waiting for Carlos to correct us. Oh,
Spanish or Espanol. There we go. So what's the weather like down your guys' way?
It's been pretty hot. It was foggy this morning.
Oh, foggy.
It's been in the high 80s during the
high
day.
80s. You poor bastard.
Yeah, it's getting warm again.
It's like 25 here this morning.
Same.
You poor bastard.
Same.
It's been
out, though.
It's been rainy and nasty. So I actually enjoy this part of the day because I can drive my truck through the yard without rutting it up because it's all still nice and frozen. But here in about 3 hours, when I'm actually going to be moving stuff, it's going to turn to slop again and it's going to suck. Like if it would just stay 25 all day, I would actually be happy. But
how much crap do you have?
Oh my gosh, too much. Way too much. Try having a wife, 3 kids, 2 goats, 9 chickens, 2 dogs, 3 cats, a ferret, a guinea pig. Like you accumulate a lot of crap with all of these things. The children especially, like those are the worst things. Just don't do that.
Just throw
unless you're doing ginger children, in which case you need to do that.
I would say I'm working on it, but not at the moment. So
I would hope not. That would probably get this video. That would be our first removal.
We would get the most viewers we've ever had
for that whole 7 seconds before YouTube figured out what was going on. I wasn't saying 7 seconds to.
Oh.
I mean, either or.
I was like, I set you up for it, and you didn't even take it. You took it, but not in a way that I thought you were going to.
Well, speaking of today's show topic, let's go ahead and knock this out real quick because there's not a whole lot to say about it. I mean, every week we get a new a new poll that finds that Biden's approval rating are at the lowest ever. Like, eventually he's going to hit the lowest it can possibly go, and you can't continue to go down any further. Like, once he hits 0, that's it. Like, the problem is when you look at this poll, like, there's no way he's going to hit 0 because there's a solid 21% of the population who are just like diehard lefties that are going to say he's doing a good job. Even if he accidentally hit the fire nuke button and they fell back on the U.S. instead of actually going where they're supposed to be going, 21% of the people would still say he's doing a great job.
I'm looking at you, George Takei.
I can see a scenario in which Ukraine and Russia work out some sort of deal and somehow Biden gets the credit for that deal and up go those numbers just in time for the midterms.
You know, I was thinking...
I was going to say, how much did you read on this? Because it looks like this poll came out right when Russia was moving into Ukraine.
Oh, I didn't read this article at all there, pal.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty quick.
I'm a numbers junkie, so I went through it and really kind of looked at it. And this poll came out like right after Russia moved into Ukraine, and there was no like usually a president, whenever there's a international conflict going on, usually presidents get a bump for whatever reason, and that didn't happen at all. Like there was no international conflict bump for Biden when this poll was done. So,
can I say like part of me like almost like, I mean, obviously I'm not a fan of Biden, but let me say I'm not, right? But like I almost feel like bad for him sometimes because like I usually like, okay, so whenever like there's a president and whatever's going on, everyone's like blaming it on them, and it's like typically it's like that shit was already happening like before they became president, you know, like obviously things were pretty fucked up when Biden got into office, and I know a lot of that had to do with him or whatever, but just when I drive around and I see so many people with like "fuck Joe Biden" flags in front of their house and on their car, I mean, they're saying the full phrase now. It's not even "Let's go Brandon" anymore. It just says "fuck Joe Biden." You know, it's like the guy's not even like the president. Like, he's not doing anything, you know? And it's like, yeah, I'm not a fan, but it's just so hilarious to me that it's like, it's just so, like, it's even more okay to hate. Maybe it's just the region I'm in. Like, when Trump was president, I heard a lot of people say, fuck Trump, right? But, like, man, just the openness of people saying, fuck Biden is crazy. I mean, it's a good thing. I love it, you know? But it's just like, it's just funny because it's like, well, it's just the government. Like, stop blaming Biden and just understand.
My wife sent me a picture of it was the rear windshield on a truck that she was behind in town, and it had "Let's go Brandon" like huge across all the way across the back windshield, and then FJB right below it. I mean, and this isn't. I don't know, when did the "Let's go Brandon" thing start? Like it's only a few months old, and that's already taken off.
I will see. Today, when I go to work, once you have this podcast, I'm going to see dozens and dozens of that stickers on trucks, fucking flags in people's yards, on people's houses. It is so heavy down here. It is crazy. I cannot believe it. I love it. I just wish that they were also anti-Trump. They usually have a Trump 2024 flag in their yard too. And I'm like, fuck. You're so close.
Well, so like to Carlos's point, talking about watching Mar and the Trump's numbers are down.
I hope so.
Trump's Trump's numbers have been down as well. If you're looking at, seen a lot of people don't really, and I don't know why for as much as the corporate press completely hates Trump, I don't know why they're not reporting on it more. Like, why are they running with Biden's numbers being down so much and not focusing on Trump's? Because Trump's numbers are down across the board. I think probably the reason that they're not reporting on it is because while Trump's numbers are down, I think Biden's are significantly more down.
Yeah, they don't want to highlight that people still love Trump, you know?
Right. Like while the TDS has possibly waned and Biden's incompetence is kind of driving things a little bit, it is, you know, Trump's numbers are down, but more of a he's out of the spotlight kind of thing, not so much a maybe people are necessarily turning on him. I'm not sure. Yeah, that would be interesting to do more of a dive on.
Yeah, there's sort of like a cyclical thing to these like 4-year cycles as far as like presidential poll numbers go too. Like you're going to see low numbers for Biden like now and maybe like into the beginning of next year. And then as the election cycle ramps back up, they're going to manufacture some better poll numbers for him, especially since TDS will probably come back because Trump basically announced that he's going to be running again in 2024. Well, yesterday, a couple of days ago at CPAC. So there's like a cyclical thing or pattern to this as well.
Oh, it's going to be so funny. I hope he does. I guess he had a speech the other day and he was saying something like, I'm the only president in the 21st century that Russia didn't invade under, it's like, it's funny because it's so like stupid, but it's like, I guess true. So it's like, hey, you gotta love me. I think that just pisses people off so bad. It's going to be hilarious. Just for the shit show I really want him to run.
So it'll be a fun time.
This is an interesting part of this poll that kind of takes a look at Biden on a more personal level than just like partisan politics type stuff. On the question of whether he's a strong leader, 59% say no, and only 36% say yes. Which his approval
what are these 36% people that like these are like bots?
Right.
Who
it's
could
the same,
possibly say he's a strong leader?
It's the same 36% who approve of the overall job because his approval rating is at 37%. So like there's 1% who approve of the job he's doing but still don't think he's that he's a strong leader, I guess.
He's doing a good job. He's just weak.
And so this line is especially important to these polls. Is that 65% of independents say he's not strong. So I think we've talked about it before. Like there's roughly 30% of people who are going to align with Republicans no matter what. And then there's roughly 30% of people who are going to align with Democrats no matter what. And then you've got that 40% in the middle that tend to swing elections one way or the other. And that big group in the middle is largely swinging back to the right and really rejecting. They really don't think highly of Biden. They don't think he's doing a good job. They don't think the economy is in good shape. And then if you continue to like go through this poll, most of these people think that the Republicans are better on the economy. It's kind of a push on the schools, education, and school stuff. They think the Democrats are better on the pandemic, but as that wanes, the economy and inflation and everything is going to be more of the hot button topic. So these independent voters, the big 40% in the middle, they are largely swinging back to the right. And a lot of it is because of the way the Biden administration has handled things over the last year and a half.
I mean, no matter what, like,
not so popular this time around.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because that's not what I was gonna say, but man, since you said that, I mean, that is a great point. That it is like, it really isn't much different, right, than having Obama, again. But yeah, I guess after 8 years, as much as people claim to love it, maybe it was wearing on motherfuckers.
Yeah.
54% do not think Biden has the mental sharpness it takes to serve as president. I wonder why.
I told him that 3 years ago.
He doesn't have the mental sharpness to drive a car. Oh yeah, the Supreme Court pick thing. Yeah, so we have a strong, powerful POC female on the Supreme Court now.
I love how you just like self-censored yourself in like real time.
What was I supposed to say there? That episode was last week. All right, we'll be on that.
Yeah. We have a
It
strong,
doesn't matter that she is or isn't. It's just obviously
strong, articulate black woman.
Johnny and I talked about her on Friday's episode of Peddling Fiction, and she's not.
I don't know anything about her.
She's an extremely cookie cutter Democratic Supreme Court nomination. Like, there is nothing. She's not an RBG style, like going to try to apply morality from the bench or some shit like that. Like she kind of toes the typical leftist line for what you would expect from a Supreme Court justice. Like she's going to be the black female version of Stephen Breyer. Like that's it. If you go through and you look at her rulings, like the stuff that she's actually been a part of, she just doesn't push the issue. Like she doesn't go extremely leftist and like go super progressive or woke. She just votes, or she rules as you would expect a standard Democratic justice to rule on things. So I don't see it as being
probably as good as we can hope for.
What's her name?
Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Okay, so that one.
Oh, come on.
And
Do you think she got picked on name value alone? Like
Jesus.
well, I think didn't she like dream of being a Supreme Court justice? Blah blah blah. This inspirational story at one point, like, and Hillary dreamed of being president, and it didn't come to her. So gotta make up for it somehow.
So it seems like Ketanji Brown Jackson was picked because she is sort of a just cookie cutter. I hate to use this word, but because it feels like the wrong word, but it's probably the right word. She is just kind of an unimpressive Democratic judge. Mm-hmm. So
no hubbub about it then, there's enough shit going on.
Exactly. Like there's no hubbub about it. She might even get some bipartisan support.
Yeah, she's all to Carlos's point. She's also black. Like she's not Kamala and she's not Obama. She's a black woman.
Good point. Yeah. Perfect. Well, yeah, they probably would get because if you're like a standard like Democrat, whatever, like you're not really anti-state capitalism, so the Republicans don't really got any beef with you there. It's probably about the safest bet for them too. So, yeah, probably just nice and easy this time. Well, that's good.
Does Kamala still have this is a civics 101 here. She still have a tie-breaking vote in case it's like deadlocked for confirmation?
Do they even vote? I thought they could just technically confirm whoever they wanted, but as like a formality, they went through a vote. Or am I mistaken about that? Am I thinking about something else?
She's gonna get confirmed, even if it gets pushed to next year and there is a Republican-held Senate, or the Republicans take the Senate back. She's still gonna get confirmed. Basically, they may have to go through some formalities and a lot more rigmarole, but ultimately she's going to get confirmed. Like there's not going to be a conservative justice that takes Breyer's place. At this point it's all hand wringing and formalities. I like this headline. We don't even have to go into the article. I just like the headline.
Leaders lead during crises, White House says as Biden polling plummets.
Obviously, he's leading them right into the ground.
Who said that? Dag's girl Saki said that.
What did she say? What did you see she said that we need to be more energy independent and not rely on foreign oil as the Biden administration continues to keep pipelines shut down.
Well, it doesn't have to make sense.
No, actually,
we just need more solar, guys.
Makes sense.
So the lowest approval rating that Trump ever hit was 38.6, apparently.
Does it say a year?
And Biden is currently at 37.
I would assume that was probably like summer of 2020 number.
Probably. Let's see. What do we got next? I guess we should probably move on to...
We're not going to touch on how a very nice portion, at least, the populace was able to eventually see through like all the propaganda regarding COVID, and now even they're being sucked into war propaganda, which is a really distressing fact. It's distressing to watch.
Yeah, it is insane how the propaganda machine made this happen. Like I'm watching on the local news here, like there's big demonstrations for Ukraine and stuff in like Tampa and St. Pete. It's
and then,
it's just
a lot of
ridiculous
these
that people have gotten so worked up and they don't
yeah.
even know what about.
Right. And it's kind of like, I mean, it's really convenient. And it's probably partially planned for like these people to be sucked back into believing media narratives after a lot of people became red pilled over the last 2 years. It goes to show how strong the media propaganda or the war propaganda machine is.
Oh yeah, and how flexible or easily flip-floppable people are. I mean, we just look at like the same people who are anti-big pharma, one year, and then now they're like, "Oh, please, Daddy Pharma, shoot it in me." And then, get them all your friends. But yeah, so this same kind of shit. It takes them like 2 weeks of dropping a little bit here and there about Ukraine and building to it, and then boom. You've got fake fighter pilots, that fucking goes to Kyiv or whatever thing.
Barefoot women shooting Russians.
Did you see there were multiple articles that were running with pictures and stuff from like 2016, 2018, 2014, like showing all the devastation that's going on in Ukraine. And it's all old pictures that some of them weren't even from Ukraine at all. Like one of them was from like a chemical plant explosion or something that had happened, like crazy shit. Like
all these photos of Zelensky and his military garb that apparently were taken like a couple years ago or whatever.
Oh, did you see the thing? So I didn't fact check this, so I could be wrong. I'm just going with something that I saw. But apparently he played himself in like a TV show or something. And
someone who wants to be the president of Ukraine, like before he became the president of Ukraine, is some serious predictive programming going on there.
Wow. That's weird.
I mean,
he's like an actor, comedian, and he played in that TV show where he's like, I want to be president. And then, was it 2019 he was elected or installed, I should say?
Yeah, it was either, I think in 18 was when the election happened, and then in 19 is when he actually took power. I can't remember exactly. COVID rots the brain. Or COVID mania, I guess I should say. I had COVID I had COVID before it was cool and before it caused myocarditis and all this other stuff. It was just when it was just a normal, upper respiratory infection. Oh, moving on to today's actual, not today's actual topic, but the topic that all of our names reference. More than 600 geographic sites across the U.S. will be renamed, replacing a derogatory term for indigenous women used for decades.
The term is squaw for those of you who haven't caught on yet.
I wasn't aware that was a derogatory term.
I wasn't either.
I could buy that it is. I don't know if it always was. 600 places are named after it. I mean, maybe it was.
Oh, it's only been derogatory since November.
Oh, okay. What, since this lady got appointed or took office or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah. She looks like a real squaw.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look, man. I don't know if it is or isn't, or how Native people see that term. I mean, if it bugs them, whatever. I don't care. Change the name, but it's I really don't know if it's. I really wouldn't have thought that it was a really racist term, but I guess if I was in the presence of Native people, I might have opted to not use it just in case. I don't know.
She is actually Native American. Like that was the entire. I don't have numbers of her appointment to that position, because if you recall, whenever Obama or Freudian slip there, whenever Biden was naming his cabinet, like it was all this inclusivity and diversity and everything, and that was like the big sticking point for her appointment to this position was that she was the first Native American woman to hold some cabinet position. Is that important? Like,
what is the Department of the Interior?
Well,
and I guess to the second part of this question is, do they have nothing better to do? You know, like, is this? I don't know how much money and time is being spent on this, and it seems like you could just change the name very easily without all this rigmarole and hoopla if it's really a big deal. But like, what kind of resources is this taking for the Department of Interior? I thought was like supposed to be like a relatively important, department.
It is responsible for the management and conservation of most federal lands and natural resources.
Oh,
so they literally have nothing better to do.
Okay, so this is her job. Okay,
yeah.
Well, fuck, and whatever. I don't go to any place named Squaw. It ain't gonna affect my life.
I would venture a guess that she and maybe her mom and grandmother are the only indigenous ladies who were actually offended by the term. And one of the prerequisites for getting a job in the State Department is to be offended by something. So this was like one of the questions, like, what are you offended by? Well, I really hate the term squaw. You got the job.
Do you have something silly you can go on a crusade about?
Right. The Ministry of Magic. Nice.
I don't know. Do you guys have any place named after Squaw near you? Do you ever go camping at Mount Squaw or Squaw Valley or Squaw Hollow?
We're gonna find as many ways to say this word as we can.
Oh, here we go.
I think at least two of those are real places, not just being offensive.
Some places have gotten a head start with the changes. Squaw Valley Alpine Meadows, the mountain resort used in the 1960 Winter Olympics, changed its name to Palisades Tahoe in September. So they named it after a sports utility vehicle. That
sounds bougie. Palisades Tahoe. Doesn't sound like I'd be able to afford to go there. They named after two sport utilities vehicles. There's a Tahoe and a Palisade. Oh, shit.
To answer Corey's question, how has Warren never brought this up? Not only is Elizabeth Warren not Native American, she thinks all Native Americans are Cherokees, and she doesn't. That's the only word associated with them that she knows.
Speaking of SUVs, got a white Jeep Cherokee right there.
When are they going to change the? So that's what I'm wanting to know is when are they going to start changing the name of all of these vehicles? They
did Tahoe, sports teams already.
Tahoe, the Cherokee, what else we got?
Is Tahoe an Indian thing? I thought that was like the name of like a mountain range or something, or like a place, or is that a native name?
We're all about the questions today.
Oh,
sorry. I'll shut up.
No, not you. I'm just talking about all of us.
I don't know.
I'm genuinely curious. Figure we can all learn together.
This is a learning episode.
Yeah. There's I saw a Tahoe driving. It's a lake. Okay, see, it's just a lake that was named after it. Oh, never mind. No, just kidding.
Let's see. What are some other since we didn't do anything Native American. I guess we did Eskimo. Eskimo was apparently an offensive Native American term. We're supposed to call them Inuit.
Have you guys ever? Okay, so like when I was like growing up, I don't know. There was never I never heard anything offensive said about Native Americans or whatever. They're great, noble people, etc. But I have some friends who went and they did some work in Texas, and they were like they were seeing fights break out like in between like white people and like Native Americans in like bars and shit. And they were like, yeah, white people there were really racist against Indians, like really racist. And I was like, wow, I guess it exists, but I was like shocked that that's like a thing. But I also don't live anywhere where there's not like a reservation next door or anything. People wouldn't have any like reason to have conflict. So I don't know. But I was very surprised. I didn't realize it was a thing.
Yeah, I didn't really witness it a whole lot.
Yeah, of all the mild racism I've actually witnessed in my life, definitely none against the
That
Native
one
people.
wasn't one of them.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
Of the name behind
if somebody
Texas.
like anybody who might have grown up near a reservation or something might have seen it more. I don't know.
Well, that's
like
the thing. There's not a big population, and
the extent of my experience with it is watching Banshee and Letterkenny. So
I don't know
I
what
don't
either of
know
those are.
what either of those are.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know why I bother talking about TV shows with y'all. Y'all are,
I used to watch Gunsmoke. Was it like that?
Oh, my dad loves that. He likes to nap to it.
Or what was the other one? This is great live streaming here. I don't know. There was another show that had Indians being shot at.
Bonanza?
Yes, that one.
Yeah. I saw like part of an episode of that because it comes on the TV here, and it was like they like sold or traded all like the Indians like a bunch of guns or something, and there was like tension between them, and then like once they did, like, man, why'd you give them all those guns? Like, that's okay, they don't work. And everybody laughed, and that was like the end of the episode. I was like, oh shit, okay.
They don't make TV shows like they used to.
Yeah. Well, they were. Well, it's crazy. So I was watching Boardwalk Empire, which I fucking love. And there's a guy, that's in like the 20s, and there's a guy on there who, was talking about the good old days back when he was like in the military, and they were just, going out exterminating Indians in the West. He's like, oh, those are good old days. I have 37 scalps or whatever. And it's like, wow, those people were still alive for quite a while. Like when those shows were made, I wasn't that far from when bad shit was going down. Oh, there's the goat lube.
There we go. That's Clyde's goat lube.
That's your brand, huh?
That's the one. That's the one that Clyde recommends. I was just sharing for the viewers.
For Carlos, really, it's his favorite part of the show.
That is it.
He tries to pick up pointers.
Yeah, I'm trying to find anything else that like. That's it. They're just removing the name squaw. Nothing else is apparent. There are no other offensive Indian terms out there that need to be addressed. At least not at this time.
I mean, just Squanto is probably next eventually. Just gotta stop using Squanto as a generic name for Native Americans. So,
all right,
Carlos. You're
Carlos
generally
speaks,
not supposed to do that.
You what?
You're generally not supposed to use one name as a general term for a race of people. That's usually pretty much any race. If you just say Tyrone, like you're a bunch of Tyrones over there.
Yeah, I mean, that is offensive towards Irish people, those Irish Tyrones.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of them.
All right, so Carlos, I did take a couple years of Spanish. And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure tonto means retard or mentally handicapped or slow or something like that. Am I? So when are they going to go back and like fix referring to Native American characters as retarded in stuff where they were given the name Tonto?
We're asking Carlos this.
Yeah, he'll answer
hopefully
eventually. This gives us a chance to drink our coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, I failed. I got it.
Good job, Mark, with your Pepe.
I know. I like that mug, man.
Thank you.
Oh, here we go.
I realize every time I take a drink, it says "Made in China" at the bottom. I gotta cross that out.
See, I was close. I knew it was something like that.
It's a mild retarded.
Retarded,
Look, I took Spanish 1 in 8th grade, so I don't remember how long ago that was exactly, but it wasn't any time recently. Shit,
I cheated my way through Spanish. The German foreign exchange student who barely spoke English got like 99s on like every test. She was like the best student in the Spanish class. It was crazy.
Well, Germany and Spain are pretty close to each other, aren't they? I mean,
you know what? Maybe she already halfway knew Spanish when she took Spanish. Maybe it wasn't like brand new to her.
Dad, 30 years later, is like,
yeah, maybe she wasn't so smart.
I think Germany and Spain are probably closer than Florida.
I may have just I may have just made you a lot older than you are, though.
What's that?
I may have just made you too old, though. Cause...
Oh, 30? Yeah, I mean, yeah, a little bit.
Sorry.
But that's okay. It's okay. I had somebody mistake me for 50-something at the farmer's market. Wow. They go, wow, you have really good energy for your age. And I was like, how old do you think I am, dude? I'm like, I don't know, 54? And I was like, oh, God.
You should be like, yeah, cocaine. Try it.
Yeah. I've done some living, boy. Oh, because of that's what like Latin X. Once I found out what Latin X meant, because they wanted to like not say Latina or Latino. I mean, I don't know. And I mean, hey, dude, I guess it does put people in a tight spot when you're being so gendery about like language, like there's whole languages sort of built around that.
Got to get rid of the entire Spanish language.
And see, I was always under the impression, and maybe this is because I took Spanish 1, 25 years ago, and I've drank a lot since then. I was always under the impression that Spanish was not necessarily broken up into male and female, but it was into masculine and feminine. So, according to today's, especially if you look around at male society these days and all these fucking betas running around, like I would say that masculine and feminine does not necessarily mean male and female. Like it's, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. It is a very romantic language, unlike Russian, which is pretty brutal, and German is even worse. I love German and Russian. Just they're not exactly.
They don't flow off the tongue as smoothly as Spanish might.
Yeah, not a lot of good flow going on. A lot of good barking is more the way I would describe those.
Donde está la fiesta?
So
that's nice.
Speaking of words,
I don't know anything in German or Russian, so
don't. Speaking of words, and we're going to go back to the English language here. We talked about the wokeifying of Lord of the Rings in previous episodes of the show. I'm reading Fellowship of the Ring right now, and apparently a bundle of wood is or used to be called a faggot. Did you guys know this?
Oh,
didn't y'all explain this to me on a couple weeks ago? Because I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what the bundle of sticks thing referenced.
Get out, really?
Well, that's at some point in the Fellowship of the Rings, they throw a faggot into the fire, which is the most anti-woke thing that I have ever read. So even more gas to a fire of Tolkien.
Fire of Mordor.
Yeah. I thought about just putting that sentence on Twitter and seeing what might happen.
Carlos confirmed that I was right. It's masculine and feminine. He just doesn't know how to spell. So see, I don't understand. So there shouldn't even be a reason to be all pissed off and go woke on the Spanish language, because it's not necessarily male and female. I guess probably at its inception and its origins it was, but it's masculine and feminine. So you can define that however you want. As obviously modern society has proven, you can define shit in whatever way you feel like defining it, and it's perfectly fine. Let's see.
Thank you for permission.
Sorry, I'm caught up in masks that say fag on them. A lot of them.
You guys send a link in the private chat so I can pull that up?
Yeah. I'm trying to there's something else I was searching for, but
you got kind of caught on this thing.
Yeah. Hold on, I figured out how to do it.
Boomer here.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm working on it. Talk about something else.
Okay.
So
I have been perusing this article because I found.
Oh, you're perusing too.
What are we perusing? I don't know. I don't know who this person is, but Bel Air star Ollie Charlatan says a scene where a group of white students sings a song with a racial slur made an actor uncomfortable to participate in. So apparently they're doing the song remake. They were singing, a viral Bobby Shmurda song from 2014, which inspired the Vine Shmoney Dance, contained the N-word, and the group could all be heard saying the derogatory term that has been used to insult the black community.
Do they specify if it was a hard R or if it was the A?
I've never heard this song.
And now we got to find out what the song is. I'm sure it was not a hard R.
Yeah.
But it goes on to talk about in 2018, Kendrick Lamar stopped his performance of Mad City during his set at the Hangout Festival in Alabama to tell a white woman who he had asked to perform with him on stage for the song to bleep the N-word after she repeatedly used it in the song. Like, if you're going to ask a white person to get up on the stage and perform a song with you that has the word in it, but then stop the song and get mad because the person is saying that, like, what the fuck are you thinking? This is the dumbest shit ever. And, like,
I have a theory about that situation. And that's that it was totally fake and staged. And my reason being is that in my experience, when they pull somebody up on stage to sing a song, they know the person. Like, I'm not just saying from that, like, from being at concerts, like anytime I've seen that happen, it was already, they knew they were going to pull them up, like the person knew the song, because they're going to pull somebody up who they know knows the song. So I really think that whole thing was fucking staged. If it's not, then yes, it's fucking ridiculous. Like that you would do that, and then get mad about it. But I think that was the cause of fuss.
If it's staged, which it probably was, like, what point is he trying to get across then? Like,
that white people can't say that, or maybe he's trying to just make a news article for himself for publicity.
A weird roundabout way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, why did Jussie Smollett do what he did?
Good point.
Yeah. I've been trying to find my favorite meme ever from the whole pandemic, but it was like a bundle of sticks with a mask on it. It was just like a cartoon of a bundle of sticks with a mask on it, and that was it. And it was the funniest fucking thing to me. I could not get over it.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, but I can't find it anywhere.
Oh wow, that was
taken out for hate speech. They finally got the joke. Took them a second, but they.
Yeah. There you go. Oh shit. I mean, I bet in some cities that's common. Helps you identify each other easier.
I like that there's an Australian. I like that there's an Australian flag mask in with all the flag masks.
What is this thing here? The bottom row, second over. Like, what is that? Beside the "I stand with Israel" weirdo thing.
I have no idea. That thing right there?
Yes.
There's also like some.
I don't know that.
Yeah, there are a bunch of them. What is going on here?
I think it's like a Rocky Dennis conceptual art piece.
Okay, it's ugly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it's like, because all I can think of as the relation is the movie Mask, and I think that kind of looks like Rocky Dennis's head in that movie. So
was he a fag? I wasn't aware of that.
Well,
like, I think maybe I need to rewatch the movie. But
I think it's the mask word that's hitting, because the movie was called Mask. So that's my thought. And the movie's not online anywhere. I can't watch it. I've been trying to watch it. I've never seen it.
Yeah, some kind of disease that made his face all lumpy and
like
something
or whatever,
protruding like that.
Yeah, so I think he was like dating a blind girl, because what else are you gonna do?
I don't know. When she touches his face, she's gonna be repulsed, probably.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that how blind people like
shake hands?
Yeah. Speaking of, I got into this conversation with someone over the weekend. Speaking of blind people, was Helen Keller real?
I mean,
as far as I know,
lied to.
It's possible.
Okay. Is the whole story real?
I've always had a hard time believing that story ever since I was a kid, and they were trying to shove it down my throat.
Right. Like what exactly is the point of shoving this down our throat? But I have a hard time believing as well. What are we watching?
You're right. Why was it such a big thing? Like, why did we all have to learn about Helen Keller and do the fucking play and shit? Yeah, I'm
Why
always
are they gonna
suspicious
lie to
about
us
things
about
like that.
this?
Yeah. There's some reason that we all need to know about Helen Keller.
To prove
Other
that
than-
even if you're blind, deaf, and dumb, you can still learn.
You can still be a tool for the state.
There's also like this kind of goes along with it. That one of the theories regarding the moon landing is that it wasn't faked to compete with the Russians or whatever, but it was faked to create this sort of like aura of invincibility, we can do anything kind of message. So maybe that's the Helen Keller message too. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It's a good thought.
But I don't know. But again, why?
All I'm saying is that lunar lander looked like a meth head's treehouse.
And what was that clip we were watching?
That's the song, the offensive song, the one that
Well,
the
I
Shmoney
had no
dance song.
sound.
well,
Well,
yeah,
I
it wasn't that the
deliberately
song was
didn't put the sound up because we were talking.
That's
I mean,
fair.
I can play it and we can have some sound if you would see what it's.
What they say in the
I don't know. I've never heard it.
I feel like
well, in the show, they like that, like Will Smith or whoever's the new Will Smith is like, I guess, yells or gets mad or upset about the white people saying the word. So it's like a learning moment.
Well, let's have us a learning moment.
God squad, genuine with this shit. I'm a niggas just not what it fit. And see my hockers on my eyes with the shit.
Yeah, that's pretty awful.
Yeah.
That's about all I can handle of that. And I enjoy
Kendrick
gangster
Lamar
rap.
like 3'4". You know, I think Kendrick. I told that story last week about the midget that got in the semi. I'm pretty sure that was Kendrick Lamar.
Let's see. Kendrick Lamar is 5'4.5". So
Oh, well,
Well, it's pretty short.
close enough.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, for a man, that's basically a midget.
that's effectively yes.
Yeah.
Carlos,
You need help with the top
we
shelf,
already.
okay?
No, yeah, Carlos. I'm sorry, man.
We already established it's all right. That's just part of it.
It's so vague, but at the same time, I know what you're saying.
See, we have reached new levels of racist in that we can be racist without even saying anything that's explicitly racist.
This is the song the Baby Smurda dancing meme is from.
Yes.
I don't know what any of those
Smurda?
words mean.
Yeah. What's a mimi? I don't know.
Okay, I know what
What's
that
happening?
means.
Oh,
Motherfuckers. Oh, shit.
I forgot all. See, I got distracted by
Forgot what we
fucking
did
Bobby
this to you
Smurda and
for.
some dumb shit, and I forgot that I actually had a good article that we needed to talk about. See,
Like,
This is
good
the
as
problem.
One
in-
I didn't read.
this is the problem having like 17 tabs opened up.
Boy.
For Black Americans, living longer impacts health and wealth. Imagine that. Imagine that. I never
don't
would have
even-
thought that if you were black and you lived longer, that you might have health problems and it might impact your wealth. Like you might run out of money eventually if you keep living longer.
It's funny because
and your health goes downhill apparently the longer you live. Like
Well, just
this
that
is
headline's
not
confusing.
this is not something that white people have to deal with. So I never would have expected to find out that black people deal with this. Like that just
Every year I get older, more money gets deposited in my bank account on New Year's. It's crazy. It's just not an issue for me.
that's your white privilege.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where it comes in.
It's also
The older
all
you
those
get, the richer you are.
algorithms.
Oh, shit.
That's right, STG. Whitest whites up in here. This is true. For me, anyway.
Living longer means Black Americans can spend more years aggressively investing in the stock market while also stockpiling cash to buy real estate or create trust funds for heirs. Real estate and trust funds in particular are main vehicles through which wealth gets passed down, she added.
This is just financial 101 for like, this article is just that? I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, apparently so. Like
They're just loose ties, man. What can we tie to racism in some way, somehow? You know? I
Well,
want
we
to read your
learned-
financial advice article.
This article kind of strikes me in a similar way that the like requiring a state ID to vote, that because that's racist because black people don't know how to use a computer and don't have access to the internet, and so they can't acquire a state ID. Like, this article kind of hits me the same way. It's like, you're going to live longer. That means you need to be prepared for all these things that come with living longer that you hadn't been prepared for previously, because black people typically didn't live this long. It's like, this shit's more offensive than like anything that I've ever said. Maybe, I don't know. That might be a stretch.
That's a little bit far, but
Black people are living longer now. How can we squeeze some content out of this?
Right.
I meant that by the people who wrote the article, of course, but I guess that applies to us too. So,
and that's what a lot of these things get to. It's like, you're black, and so you're not smart enough to know these things. So we're going to tell you these things that you're not smart enough to know because it's racist that you were never taught these things. Like, what? What the fuck? What the actual... I hate all of these articles so much.
it was like during like Reconstruction after the Civil War, like all the fucking Yankees came down and they're like, we're going to re-educate black people on how to be good, decent citizens, you know, and maybe they were genuinely trying to help, but like, yeah, it was really shitty and like, you know, like pretty racist, you know, they gave books like, oh, this little Miss Helpful Molly, you know, she wears dresses down to her ankles and loves the Lord and gets up at 4 a.m. to do chores every day and this and that, you know, because they're like, oh, they're just lazy. Okay.
So like this part right here.
So,
to be clear, an investment portfolio alone isn't a key to Black America building its wealth. Years of discrimination in housing, income, education, and other areas have historically kept Black Americans far behind their white counterparts, and disparities caused by racial biases continue to exist. Never mind that a lot of the housing policy and those issues come from the government. Never mind that a lot of the educational issues come from the government. Never mind that, you know, the fact that the government has stepped in to fix the problem and instead created a whole myriad of other problems that have effectively created a new slave class out of black people. Like, how do people not see this? How do people not understand that all of the government policy of the last 150 years have effectively gone to create a new slave class? Like, okay, they're not being forced to work in fields every day. They are enslaved in a whole other way that's infinitely worse, honestly.
I have this theory that you're going to see, which part of this I hope becomes true. You're going to see like more and more like white people not even like go to college and whatnot for many different reasons, for financial reasons, and also being taught that they're the evilest people on the planet. And I think that there's going to be a correlation between success and not going to college. And down the road, you're going to see this success like turn out for these college dropouts or people who chose not to. In the meantime, you're going to see more blacks going to college, and then we're going to be seeing articles like 20 years from now saying that we held back blacks by telling them that higher education is good for them while we dropped out of college and became more successful. Like, this is my prediction.
I can 100% see that happening.
yeah, I put a few bucks on it.
Whew.
Yeah, college sucks.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Am I the only one with a degree?
Clyde might have one.
Yeah, I think he had to have one to go over to Korea and teach
Yeah.
English to those folks.
English, as he says it. Apparently he thought he was teaching them, but really
like,
they
I
were
wonder
teaching
what
him.
the application and the interview process is like for that. For like, as soon as they hear me talk, they're like, "Yeah, we're not taking it."
No.
Hard pass. Thanks anyway.
I can teach him words like dude, shit, and fuck. Man. Oh shoot! Well, this was a hoot, guys.
Yeah.
We managed to cover all of the racist bases today. We got Native Americans, Hispanics, blacks, gays.
Did we do white people again? Did we leave out white people again?
When you use the word Molly as your like set-in for that name for that girl, was she black or white?
It was supposed to be a black girl in the they do like some excerpts from some of these books in Renegade History of the USA, Thaddeus Russell's book.
Yeah, okay.
And it's like, yeah, they make him where it's like, yeah, really like you wouldn't know if they didn't tell you that it's supposed to be like a black girl. They try to make it sound like some Puritan white girl, and they're trying to train, black people to behave that way.
Molly Hemmings, Sally Hemmings' sister, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Molly was just a name I pulled out of nowhere, but it's supposed to be a white sounding name.
Yeah, it sounds like a standard white girl name.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever met a Molly who wasn't a white girl, so it's pretty on point.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know a Molly. Just kidding.
Well, be sure to tune in for Wednesday's episode. I created a couple new teasers or opening clips, whatever you want to call them, and I think the one that I'm going to run on Wednesday is it's definitely a lot better than the Putin poem from today. So be sure to tune in for Wednesday, and I'll see you two and hopefully Clyde on Wednesday as well.
Hell yeah.
Clyde will be teaching us English.
Oh, I forgot to pull that up. We won't do that today. We'll save that for Wednesday too.
That's a teaser for Wednesday, guys. Something Justin forgot to pull up.
It's a real banger.
This is the hazard of having 17 tabs open. Like I'd forget which one.
That's the hazard. There are a lot more.
We're gonna get your accidental porn one day.
No, that's on a whole different. See, this thing has the option to have like separate. I have desktop 1 and desktop 2, and so desktop 2. That's what. Oh shit! I just changed.
That's the porn desktop.
Fuck! Now I'm not seeing y'all.
He's got a whole desktop for it.
Oh fuck! Roll the outro. Where is the outro?
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.